Our most powerful weapon is actually our economy and the ability. I just don't know how to say it. When you waive sanctions, you allow $10 billion to flow in from Iraq. You have $6 billion for hostages. John Kirby goes on the Sunday shows and says, no, President Biden has passed 500 new sanctions, but you don't enforce them. And you allow China to get away with it. China is ultimately the big winner here because not only are they getting cheap oil, our military is once again exhausting itself in the Middle East. Those ships and missiles should be in the Pacific, not the Middle East. And so China's sitting back fat and happy.
Yeah, that's a great point about the Middle East versus the Pacific. All right, let's talk about what you can do as an elected official. The House reconvening to address funding for Israel and Ukraine today. I spoke with the Speaker of the House yesterday. He says that Mike Johnson said he wants to pass a package this week after the drone and missile attack. On Sunday Morning Futures, here's what Speaker Mike Johnson said. Watch.
Way back in October, we passed our Israel support package. It's been sitting on Chuck Schumer's desk ever since. The House Republicans and the Republican Party understand the necessity of standing with Israel. We're going to try again this week.
The former president, President Trump, has talked about the possibility of turning aid for Ukraine into a loan. Is that what you're considering?
Yes. You know, I had a great visit with him at Mar-a-Lago on Friday. When you talk about aid to Ukraine, he's introduced the loan lease concept, which is a really important one, Repo Act, which is seizing the assets of corrupt Russian oligarchs to help pay for this resistance. I think these are ideas that I think can get consensus. We'll put something together and send it to the Senate and get these obligations completed.
So, Congressman, I want to get your thoughts on how this would play out. I know there's a loan idea, seizing sovereign Russian assets, lifting the moratorium on LNG exports.
Right.
But there's still a fight underway about why you are going back to the drawing board now. You already passed a standalone aid bill to Israel. Here's Rand Paul and what he says about this whole exercise right now, the senator from Kentucky. Watch.
What I would say to Speaker Johnson is hold your ground, show some cojones, show some industrial fortitude, for goodness sakes. You've already passed aid to Israel. Tell Chuck Schumer when he's ready to take it up, and it's going to be paid for.
So, Congressman, what does all of this look like? Tell us your reaction and whether or not you're going to see alternatives to what we're talking about, including a loan. You know, Trump says, send money to Ukraine, fine, but make it a loan. Or do you want to seize sovereign Russian assets? That was another part of that Repo Act. Or maybe the Biden administration needs to lift that moratorium on LNG export projects so that there is not a worry about oil and gas situations in America. Your thoughts?
Well, Maria, I would say D, all of the above. I certainly agree with Senator Paul that we've already passed not one but two aid packages. The problem is Chuck Schumer is afraid of his left. He's afraid of the pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian, progressive left. So it's easy for him to just point back at the House. We can't play that game. He could pass that tomorrow, along with the SHIP Act that would dry up Iran's cash by putting sanctions on Chinese buyers. And look, we cannot, and I don't see anything moving without border, Maria. This isn't an either or, but it is a matter of priorities, and we're hearing that loud and clear from our constituents that we have to secure our border. Joe Biden created this mess through executive orders and eliminating Trump's executive orders, and I pray that Speaker Johnson, in his phone call with Biden, said, you put him back in if you want to see aid. Number one. Number two, let's make Russia pay for it. That's with the Repo Act. Number three, Russia is flush with cash with the high price of oil. Why? Because Biden is constricting our oil and gas. So their war machine is cranking away, yet we are constraining our own gas. We should flood the world with cheap, clean American oil and gas, drive down the price of oil. Now you get a 2-for-1. You're drying up Iran's war machine and Russia's war machine. So this is about policy as much as it is just signing another blank check. And finally, Maria, I want to introduce an amendment that says until Europe meets its 2% defense commitments, all 31 NATO nations, we're done with aid going forward. They have to pay their fair share. We can't ask the American people to dig deeper in their wallets. when European politicians are doling out social programs like Germany and Spain and Italy, especially, that's a good deal for Europe, a bad deal for the American taxpayer.
Okay, so real
this
quick,
is about policy, not just blank checks.
Are you saying that you are a no vote if a package comes to you that includes Ukraine aid along with Israel aid?
I'm saying you have to have all of those other pieces in place, Maria. No more blank checks to Joe Biden's failed strategy. He has backed us into a quagmire and a stalemate over in Europe because of his bad policies.
Wow. Congressman, it's good to see you. We'll be watching your work for sure. Thank you, sir.
My name is Oluseyi. I work at Comcast as part of the team.